And we're back here at Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here with John Hardie. He is an analyst at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies in Washington, D.C. John, a lot has been written and talked about with the GRU, the kind of the military intelligence in Moscow, and you've talked about workarounds already. But I'm also interested in a lot of talk has been around the SWIFT sort of system of settling payments and possibly kicking Russia out of that. What do you see happening there?
Well, just based on public reporting, it seems that Germany, among others, has not wanted to do that. So I think while we continue to maintain that it's on the table, I would be surprised if that ends up happening.
So it's off the table at this point.
It seems to be de facto off the table.
Now, I'm also interested in the Russian connection with China. Obviously, there was the summit just before the Olympics between President Putin and President Xi Jinping. Will the Chinese be helping the Russians on these matters as well, or do you see that happening?
Yeah, so I think if the sanctions do come down, Russia will certainly look to China to try to make up some of the lost difference to soften the impact. But ultimately, the Chinese have proven themselves very wary of violating U.S. sanctions and getting themselves in trouble. So I think they probably respect U.S. sanctions better than a lot of European companies even. But so I think China, they're not going to do Russia any favors, giving them freebies. If there is a situation where they can make a return on investment in, say, a Russian energy project without violating sanctions, they'll do that. But I wouldn't expect, and I don't think Putin expects any handouts from Beijing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the contracts, let's say in natural gas and LNG are long-term contracts, so it's not as if China can just turn on the spigot if Russia is disconnected from the West that way. Is that and for Europe even to find these alternative means of providing LNG and natural gas to heat Europe? It's not as simple as turning one spigot turning off and the other spigot turning on, is it?
Yeah, that's right. You might remember, or your listeners might remember that at the Olympics, Putin and Xi announced this new energy deal. But these supplies come from different fields. So there is a Power of Siberia 2 new pipeline under consideration that would take gas from a field that supplies Europe. But the deal just announced, the Power of Siberia 1, actually come from fields that do not supply Europe. So as you rightly point out, it's not always a zero-sum game.
Do you have any advice to Canadian security agencies and the Canadian government about these issues?
Sure. I think as I would tell Canada, what I would tell the Biden administration and all its transatlantic allies, which is we have a very short window to deter Putin. So unity is absolutely paramount. If Russia is going to invade, it probably will happen within the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, for various reasons, they would start to suffer a lot of costs maintaining their military buildup near Ukraine. So the next couple of weeks will be absolutely critical. So we need to do everything we can to deter Putin by arming Ukraine to the extent possible, displaying unity across the West, locking down final negotiations on whatever sanctions packages we're going to impose, that sort of thing.
Do you think that these Western countries have shown that requisite unity so far?
I do. Despite differences that sort of leaked out into the press, which I think are inevitable, overall, I'd say the unity is very good, and it's a long ways from where we were in 2014 when Russia's invasion and annexation of Crimea and subsequent aggression in Donbass really caught the West flat-footed. I think the Biden administration Canada, other allies have taken really proactive steps and been intentional about sending a message of unity.